Most people spend 99% of their time in the realm of theory and just 1% in the realm of actual practice. Most people just don't do the work. They spend time on thinking about strategy and how I'm going to do a sales call and how am I going to outreach, but then proceed to just not do the work or just do so little they get a setback and then they're going to go back to the drawing board. You probably know some people like this, or you are yourself like this, right? So you're just thinking of strategies for the business, you're making plans, you're having ideas, you're brainstorming with yourself, and when it comes to doing the actual work, you just don't do it or do very little of it because it takes 1 or 2 setbacks for you to just go back to rethinking again. This is a form of sophisticated procrastination. It feels productive, but it generates 0 results. The most successful people I know, myself included, we flip that ratio. We spend maybe 20% on theory and the other 80% on actually doing the work, including all the setbacks that come with it. It's a so-called Pareto principle. 80% ruthless implementation and doing stuff, and 20% of planning and reflecting in order to learn and do even better and get even better results. Your success is not determined by what you know, but what you actually successfully do. If you consistently fail, it also means that you're consistently learning. People underestimate this, but in order to win once, you need to have at least 10 failures to make it happen, because you need to learn more and get smarter about it. If you're failing or a client ghosts you or you made a mistake on this project, there's a high chance you needed to learn something there that now you won't do as badly anymore in the future. In this video, I'll go down the Dark Triad of Execution. If you do these 3 things in theory and 3 things in practice, you will be successful within the next 6 months, right? Time plus consistency equals results. 90% of people, as I mentioned, are in the theory end of things and just do 1% of the practices required. But you want to go for an 80% practice, 20% theory, right? That's the good balance to have. Now, first of all, of course, before you do anything else, you have to go to the theory of the umbrella of why, which is, the practical example that I give where you have to figure out what drives you. Why do you do things? Why do you wake up in the morning? Why do you do what you do? A lot of people will say, well, I just wake up in the morning and go to work because everyone else does it. Which is, if it works, sure, but there's a high chance you're not really living the life you want to have in that case. Your goals. Reviewing your short-term and long-term objectives, right? I want to make money online. I want to be in better shape. I want to, find a girlfriend, whatever it is. But that means you have to do stuff in order to get there. So these short-term goals translate to the long-term goals, right? If the long-term goal is like, hey, in the next 6 months, I want to lose 1% body fat every single month. Okay, the short-term goal is every month 1% off. Or, even better, every week, I need to lose 0.25% of body fat. Now, it's a bit more difficult because success in general for business is exponential. It's not linear. So if I make $10 in week 1, that doesn't mean by week 8 I've made $80. It doesn't work like that, right? It's the first 6 weeks I make nothing. Week 7 I finally get like $50, and maybe week 8 I get $200, right? Because success is exponential. If this is the graph, this is linear, right? Consistently getting results, but in reality, it's more something like this. You get nothing for a while, and suddenly you get the so-called J curve. The curve of success, where suddenly everything seems to come to you because you put in the work, right? You're failing here, 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 and suddenly one post you make, one deal you close, propels you forward to the next stage. So your goals, right? And you have to put the work into there, but we'll get to that. So the umbrella of why is why you do things. This is all part of your own personal growth, right? Which is needed if you're going to start a business, in my opinion and in my experience, which no one talks about, but I do. So if you like more of this type of content, keep subscribing and like the video and all that. And then this part is the business part. So the business strategy. Because if you think about it, knowing your why and your goals is kind of part of your personal strategy, the long term, right? High level planning of your business and high level planning of you. So the theory is like reading the manual of a video game or reading the manual of a new device or new phone you've purchased. And now we're going to go to the practice. You kind of have to see these as counterparts to each other, because knowing why you do things also informs you of what you should be doing in that case, right? I want to lose weight because I want to live longer. I want to be healthy. I don't want to have these back problems, etc. Okay, so that means we have to do exercise. Maybe once a week, maybe 4 times a week. Who knows? Maybe every single day. So, daily actions that help you maintain your current status quo, your current mental state, emotional stability, and physical health, and it also improve it over time. So I do the exercise, go to the gym, I do a morning walk for like 10K steps in the morning, and I eat properly. That works for my body. Also, when it comes to the daily accomplishments, so this is opposite of goals. The goals is the plan. The goals is I plan on doing this next 6 months. The plan is I plan on having this done every week, every month, every 3 months, whatever, right? And the accomplishments is, okay, I need to do this today to make a difference 6 months from now. And the same goes for tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. So this is also the deep work. If your goal is to have a business, you need to compact and condense your work into tighter time schedules. So spend half an hour or like an hour on making a whole strategy for outreaching or making a system for it. Same goes for the business operations, right? So it's kind of similar in that sense. You make a business strategy and you execute what you need to do. You plan your time properly, you have proper time management, and that will enable you to get things done. And this is just being CEO. Later on, you can outsource things, yada yada, but the work has to be done. The operations have to run, otherwise nothing really happens. Maybe you'll attempt to go to the gym and you sign up for the membership, which is, oh, great for you, you got a membership. And then majority of people, and this is how gyms work, by the way, gym membership count on you being lazy, on you signing up in January, because that is their peak season, by the way. January, maybe somewhat in February. They lock in for a year. They pay somewhere between $20 to $50 or more per month. They show up in the first month, so let's say January, they show up 8 times, twice a week. By February, it's down to 2 times. And the rest of the year, they show up maybe twice. So they will have paid in total, let's say they're paying $50 a month, $600 for going to the gym a total of 12 times. They just paid $50 to go to the gym every single time. And this is entirely what the gym membership business model is based on. Congratulations, you played yourself. You're paying a subscription that you cannot get out of because you have to pay a fine or you have to pay the full amount anyways. So you just got yourself locked in. The worst part is if you're in there for 2 years. If there's 2 people here, 2 types, the actual practice people and the theory people only cost them this much. This is the cost per month. The actual people who show up every single day, they cost a lot because they got to keep the gym open and there's water they would use. Maybe they buy some products or like a protein bar, whatever else for a little upsell. So let me sketch you 2 different situations. Let me show you the 20%, 80% and the reverse of this. So first I'm going to tell you about the 99% practice and the 1% theory.